We finally reach a small building on the outskirts of our village.
Gather around and listen carefully. This human is an adolescent, like yourselves. He is the son of the village chief. He is immensely valuable as a prisoner, and unlike humans, we do not mistreat our prisoners. Keep your hands to yourself and keep your distance.
How did he come to be in our custody, Elder?
We found a group of adolescent human males skulking around the edge of the village, in violation of our inter-village agreement. You may recall that we've had a pact of non-violence with the humans for the last few centuries. Elemental males were permitted to visit the village in secret, and have children with any woman they chose, with the exception of human nobles, so long as the women consented. The agreement limited the number of human-elemental relationships per year. It wasn't ideal, but we got what we needed, and the humans were able to have some measure of peace.
I wonder how much the human women actually consented to a bunch of dudes with magic showing up and being all like, hey, we want to fuck you. And they're all like, well, okay. Or maybe they see a bunch of hot, good-looking men coming at them and they're like, okay. So who knows?
Recently, the humans seem to have forgotten our agreement. Although our agreement is due to expire just after the coming-of-age ceremony, the humans have not even waited until then to begin their incursions.
Having a bunch of boys playing in the woods is not an incursion, Elder Soul.
We took this boy as he had some worth as a prisoner, but his companions were of no use to us. There has been some tension between our village and the human village of late, but this is too far. We recognize that they are still boys, however, so we will give them an opportunity to make things right.
I wonder what opportunity to make things right mean. Like, did they just, kill them?
Still, this is a good lesson for all of you. None of you are old enough to have left the village yet.
Rocco coughs. So, did Rocco just get caught sneaking out, or did Elder Soul just point out the fact that Rocco has not actually gone and conquered any females that he claims?
So this boy represents an excellent chance to observe a human firsthand. Follow me.
As we enter the building, I see a young human male sitting in the middle of the room. His hands are bound together and he sits with his head bowed, seemingly lost in thought. He looks up, startled at the sight of us. He's strangely attractive. He has a boyish face, but his body is all man. He stares unabashed at me, the contours of his handsome features lit prettily by a single lumen spell. The sight of a female elemental must be new to him. It's new to just about everybody. I thought a human boy would be a bit uglier. I can feel my face growing hot under his shameless gaze. Let's flirt with him a little bit. He seems taken aback by the gesture. Perhaps humans don't wink? I pucker my lips in for a quick air kiss to drive the point home, which seems to only confuse him further. He continues to stare at me.
Have a good look. If all goes well, he will be returned to his people in a few days' time.
Caspian is the first to leave. He strides out of the room, unimpressed as always. Rocco follows him, looks uncharacteristically annoyed. Rowan gives the boy another glance as if mentally sizing him up, then exits. Yeah, looks like Rocco actually hasn't been caught sneaking out, and Elder Soul just called him out on it. Unsurprisingly, Ignatius stalks out of the room without another look at the human, while Lux regards the prisoner with his usual quiet thoughtfulness for a few moments before leaving. Elder Soul waits patiently by the door. The human and I are essentially alone, but I can't really say or do much with Elder Soul here. Maybe I'll come back later.
Now that we've had a look at the face of our enemy, we must ensure you are prepared to defend against them. We will spend the rest of the lesson sparring. Pair up.
So you can go the human boy route and basically say fuck you to the purebred elemental lineage? Yes, that I think is one of the options. You can, based on the achievements, you can in fact go to the human boy route, which, yeah, I guess if you don't want to do the purebred elemental thing, that's an option. But you don't have as much time with him as you do with the other ones, I don't think. So I'm not sure how to get that particular line. I look around the room. Usually the boys have all paired up by now, but today they all seem to be waiting for my decision. That's weird. Which, of course, we know where it's going. Did I just drop frames for a sec? No, I guess everything's fine. My Stream Deck just went flickered out. Luck smiled pleasantly as I walk up to him.
I've been practicing some new holds in anticipation of our next face-off. I hope you're ready.
I am.
You better believe I am!
I haven't practiced at all since our last fight, and his size already gives him a huge advantage over me. I might have to try a different approach. Ooh, he looks scary. No, I'm going to give him a fair fight. Lux and I bow to each other. If I let him get in close, I'll be it over in seconds. I'll just have to keep away from him.
Go on then, give me everything you've got.
I won't hold back.
Lux is doubled over, gasping for breath.
I can't keep up. I need a break.
I stop running and sit down to catch my breath.
Oh, thank goodness. I couldn't keep up that pace anymore.
I guess, both of us need to work on our stamina. Whew.
Whew.
Agreed.
It's been a long day. I'll probably turn in early tonight. It's going to take me forever to fall asleep with all that's been happening.
Huh?
There's a stack of papers on my bedside table. Those are mine. I sit on the edge of my bed and spread the papers out in front of me. I grab the closest one to me and read. Coming of age ceremony got you in a pastry panic? Briarwell's bakery will put the sweetness back in your party planning. Oh, well that's an interesting. I guess it's an advertisement. I open another one. Clothe yourselves in nothing but the finest remnants in all the land. Sweet William the courtier will design your coming of age ceremony a gown so fine it will make your peers simply ill with envy. I have a sinking feeling the rest of these papers are all advertisements. That one did have a really pretty dress on it though. Shine as bright as you deserve, now and for the rest of your life. Zircon. This one has a marriage band and necklace set.
Now that you've been through the change, you'll be a fully grown woman before we know it. And as a woman, there are many things you'll have to deal with that your classmates won't.
What do you mean, Papa?
Well, you know it's not permitted for elementals to intermarry with humans, so most elementals will never even have the chance to marry.
Why can't they just marry a boy, Papa?
Well, they certainly can, dear one, but not every boy likes boys. Not every girl likes boys either, but that's beside the point. One day you will come of age, and you'll be given a choice that most of your classmates won't. You may want to marry an elemental man. It's early yet, but you're never too young to think about your future and what you want out of life. Marriage is a choice not many of us have anymore. Your mother and I were married for many years before we had you.
He sighs wistfully.
She was an incredible woman, but that was our decision. Your mother always said all she ever wanted was for you to make your own way, and I've always tried to respect that. If you wish to marry someday, I'll throw the biggest party the land has ever seen. But marriage is not the only path to a happy relationship and a fulfilling life.
I don't know right now, Papa. Can I think about this later?
He ruffles my hair.
Of course, sweet girl. You're too young for all this kind of talk. Your mother would be ashamed of me for boring you to tears like this.
Papa's sweet. I like Papa. Aw, Papa, you've always let me make my own choices. I haven't really given marriage much thought since that day, though. So I think if I want to take the boy option, I get to pick marriage isn't for me. The human boy. But I want to be with Lux, so I want to get married someday. I look at the marriage band and try to imagine what great sparkling jewel would look like resting against my forehead. I've never given it too much thought before now, but the idea of marriage just feels right. I want to be bounded to someone forever. I place the paper to the side so I can look at it again later. As I lay down to sleep, I find myself thinking less about marriage and more about the boys in my class. I find myself lingering on thoughts of Lux. As I drift off to sleep, he's the last thing on my mind. Oh, that is bright. I don't know where I am, but it's dark. I summon a small orb of light to illuminate my path. But just before it appears in my hand, I am blinded by a dazzling light. When my eyes finally adjust, I see a figure standing before me. An impossibly tall and muscular figure. Lux. Beams of light dance over his bare chest and arms. It's a magnificent sight. One I want to see, please.
Oh, there you are. I've been looking for you. It was lonely out here in the dark.
He takes a few steps closer.
It was lonely for me too. I'm glad you found me.
Lux takes my hands in his.
I'll never let you feel lonely. Never again.
Look, he's blushing.
Oh, Lux.
Oh, look, she's blushing. He tilts my chin up and bends down to kiss me. His nose brushes against mine. His hair tickles my face. I close my eyes and immediately wake up. I awaken with a start. No light, no Lux. Oh, goddess, why? Why do I always wake up just as my dreams are getting good? That was an interesting dream. I always thought Lux was cute, but I've never really looked at him as anything other than my best friend. I do flirt with him, but it's mostly just fun, and he gets so embarrassed. Well, at any rate, guess I better get up and get going. I barely get a few steps in the village proper before a group of villagers carrying bolts of fabric come running over at me all at once.
Miss, please, if you'll just have a look at these fabric swatches.
Don't bother with that fool's swatches. See here, miss, we have a dress already made for you. Please, miss.
Those rags aren't fit to grace your body, miss. We've got a gown waiting for you in our shop.
It seems as all the village tailors have decided to try their luck all at once this morning. I bow slightly and place my hand upon my chest in a gesture of thanks.
Sirs, you honor me with your gifts. Unfortunately, I simply don't have the time to consider them right now, as I must be on my way to school. But thank you for thinking of me. I will be sure to remember you when the time comes to make my decision.
The villagers cease elbowing each other and bow in return before quickly dispersing. Perhaps my civility has reminded them of their manners. Well, that's one group taken care of. I can see another group of villagers approaching, and this time they seem to be carrying sweets and tiny cake samples.
Do all our tradesmen travel in herds in this village?
The baker's arguments reach me long before they do.
So help me, Magnus, if you touch my cakes one more time! What are you even doing here, Adriatico? You're a carpenter!
I may be a carpenter, but my hobby cakes taste 1,000 times better than those dry, crumbling little insults you're carrying in your hands!
As if you can even talk, Gillivar! You might as well be a carpenter, too! Your cakes are like wood!
I would love nothing more than to sit and stuff myself with sweets, but at this rate, there's no way I'll make it to class on time. Just as a small crowd of villagers arrive, I look across the square and spot Lux on his way to class. I give him a desperate wave. He smiles and waves, then frowns as he knows my apparent distress. He begins to make his way over to me. Just as the villagers begin to thrust their baked goods towards me, I hold my hands out to stop them.
Sirs, you honor me with your gifts, but I see my classmate across the square, and I promised him we would walk together. I really must be going now. Please feel free to deliver any samples to my quarters. Thanks!
The villagers pause for a moment, surprised by my outburst. Just in the nick of time, Lux strolls up, parting the crowd easily with his imposing presence. He gives the group a reluctant bow and grabs my hand.
There you are, classmate. It's our turn to present first today. We'd better go prepare. Please excuse us, brothers.
Oh, Lux, you're so quick on the uptake. Lux takes my hand and leads me away from the villagers. We walk for a while, but he continues to hold my hand.
That was quite a crowd. Has this happened to you before?
Earlier today and yesterday, but those times there wasn't a cute boy to hold my hand and take me away from them.
A cute boy? Oh, you mean...
Yeah, Lux, who else? He looks down at our hands, then gently lets go of mine.
Oh, I hope you won't think I was being untoward. I just wanted to get you away from those people. They seemed a bit aggressive.
Oh, he's blushing, isn't it cute?
I don't think you could be untoward if you tried. You're always so considerate.
I could be untoward if I wanted to.
That wasn't a challenge, Lux.
Right. At any rate, I would imagine this sort of thing is going to start happening more often to you. There's a lot of honor and glory to be obtained from being a part of your coming-of-age ceremony.
How lucky are you being my best friend, huh? You've got a front row seat to all the honor and glory going on here.
I'm the luckiest guy in the village.
Alright, he also likes it when I play with him. Lux smiles sweetly at me.
Lux, you are a darling man. But whenever I make a joke like that and you answer it seriously, it makes me sound like the biggest jerk.
Yep, he'll do that.
Oh, sorry. Let me see, Wow, yes! What a spectacular honor! I am the luckiest man in the village!
Oh, Lux, I'm so glad I picked you. You were fun.
Lux, you just said the same thing, but you yelled some of it this time.
That was so you would know it was sarcasm.
We'll keep working on it.
Lux seemed to be looking past me. I turn around to follow his gaze and see some of our village warriors heading in the other direction. They're heavily armed, which is unusual to see in the middle of the village.
So many weapons. They must be headed to where that human boy is being held.
I wonder what they're going to do to him. I hope they don't hurt him.
Don't worry about him. Our men would never harm a prisoner in our care. We're not humans, after all.
Yeah, you're right, Lux. I'm sure he'll be fine.
We walk the rest of the way to class in thoughtful silence. As we make our way to the training yard for today's magic lesson, Elder Soul is already waiting for us. He watches us with barely concealed impatience as we filter in one by one.
Today will be a bit different. You're nearing your coming-of-age ceremony, which means we only have a week left together. Normally, I would assign you partners.
Uh-oh.
But your classmate here has an extra choice the rest of you don't.
Here it comes. Five heads swivel around to look at me in perfect unison. Elder Soul's intimidating gaze falls upon me.
You've studied the elements for the last 14 years of your life, but you're going to have to make a commitment. You'll be choosing your own partner today. You won't have many more chances to explore magic in a neutral environment like this, so make the most of your time.
I break away from the line and turn to look at my classmates. All of them look at me expectantly, except for Lux, who gives me his usual serene smile. Nothing ever seems to bother him.
Don't drag it out, darling. Just break their hearts and get it over with.
Have you ever even seen her using wind magic outside of class? You left confidence behind long ago, buddy. We're getting into delusional territory here.
Like Earth isn't just as useless for defense.
You do realize Earth magic isn't all flowers and grass, right?
If I was gonna pick a defensive magic, Earth would probably be the best.
It's not a popularity contest, guys. She needs to think about her future.
Lux is the only one thinking about me. And that is why I pick Lux.
All of you be quiet.
After some consideration, I take in a deep breath and point my finger dramatically at Lux.
Lux!
Haven't you studied enough with him by now? You should really expand your horizons.
Not with you, she shouldn't. This decision is way too important to put it in your hands.
Enough! The poor girl doesn't need any more pressure from the lot of you.
Or you. He places a large hand on my shoulder and gives me an awkward pat. I think he needs to reassure me. It's rather sweet.
The real choice is in less than 2 weeks. Try to keep an open mind as long as you can.
Are you just mad, Elder Soul, that I didn't pick fire?
Thank you, Elder. I will.
Lux and I find some space in the corner.
Honestly, you know I'd be more than happy to go over the basics of light magic. But are you sure you want to review this again with me? You wouldn't rather learn something else?
Flirty answer. He likes it when I flirt.
I just wanted to watch you flex. Your pecs do this really great thing when you're casting.
Lux slowly raises his arm and holds them over his chest in embarrassment.
Come on, Lux. I'm just teasing you. It's not like you can even see anything through that fabric. Also kidding.
So let's begin with our review of
Oh,
the
I guess he
uses
didn't
of
like
light
that kind of
magic.
teasing. Or that kind of... Okay.
There's offensive, regenerative, and illuminative light magic.
Very good. Why don't you tell me a bit about each?
Well, illuminative is the easy one. Light magic can be used to call forth orbs of light or imbue objects with a glow. Probably the most important use for our everyday life.
Correct.
Offensive is a bit trickier. Light can be focused into a source of heat. You can burn objects with it, or your enemies. It's not used very often, but there are light elementals who have made it their focus and can do some really incredible things.
I mean, to be fair, that's kind of what fire elementals are about.
Right. I am not one of those elementals, so I won't be able to help you too much there.
Finally, there's regenerative light magic, my favorite.
Mine too.
Mine too.
And mine.
Light magic can be used to speed up the body's natural healing processes. It cannot heal fatal wounds, and it cannot revive the dead.
Well, not anymore anyway. Eons ago, before we lost some of our power due to intermixing with humans, it was possible, but not in our current state.
No kidding, that's amazing!
Light elementals are also blessed with incredible constitutions because of the light magic in their blood.
That's also correct. You'll never see a frail, wispy light elemental. We only come in one size and one of two body types.
Yours, and...
There must be mass. Whether it takes the form of muscle or fat is up to the individual. Good review. Why don't we try some healing magic?
Sure, but neither of us are injured.
Lux walks across the room and enters with a small dagger. The blade glints in the morning sun. Lux!
What are you doing with that?
Lux!
Not to worry. Just a little nick here.
Lux holds his arm out, then draws the blade across it, leaving a bloody gash in its wake.
Ah, Lux! What are you doing?
Don't worry about me. I barely felt that. But now I need your help to heal it.
Okay.
I hold my hand out just above the gash and close my eyes, focusing on the image of his arm as it was before. Whole, undamaged, attractive. What? I open my eyes to examine my handiwork. Lux's arm is no longer bleeding, but it has a long, ugly scab over it. Lux takes my hand and presses it down over the scab. A soft, glowing light shines through our fingers. After a moment, he takes his hand away. When I remove mine, his arm is just as it was before. No scab, no scar. Aww, look, light. Isn't that cute?
That was a good start. With a little practice, you'll be healing deeper cuts in no time.
He's so sweet. Look at him smile at me.
Oh, Lux, you're too nice to me. I almost gave you a hideous scar on your arm. I'm never going to be able to do this.
He takes my hand in his and presses against his arm where the cut was.
No scars here. You just need a bit more practice. I'm happy to help you whenever you like.
Thank you, Lux. I'd like that.
Wonderful. I think you'll be pleased with how quickly you can progress with even just a bit of practice.
Lux gives me a radiant smile, and it makes me feel like I want to melt into a puddle. I don't know what's going on lately. We hang out all the time, but suddenly the idea of spending time together alone with him makes me nervous and excited. I just want to keep smiling. I just want him to keep smiling at me like that forever.
But Lux, are you just going to keep cutting yourself?
Unfortunately, there's not really any better ways to practice. Akash hasn't seen a war in quite some time. Do you have an alternative?
No, but it's kind of creepy watching you cut yourself, and I don't like the idea of you hurting yourself for me.
Would it help if I said something mean to you beforehand?
Like what?
You're so beautiful, everyone you meet falls in love with you.
Look at Kiara's face.
All right, well, you're so kind. Being your friend is the greatest honor of my life.
Oh, I love you, Lux. I can't even muster a response.
No? Oh, okay. Your hair is so shiny, it's incredibly distracting to look at.
Oh, I love you. I can only squint at him in disbelief.
You're so dumb. No, I'm sorry, I can't do it. You'll just have to use your imagination.
You're hopeless, Lux.
Yes, but fun. And I enjoy you a lot. It's been a long day. The villagers clamoring for my attention only got worse on my way back. I might need to start taking a different route home. Despite everything I've been through in the last few days, as I lie down to sleep, I find my thoughts constantly returning to that human boy. I'll never forget the way he looked at me. He was a lot cuter than I ever imagined a human boy would be. It feels a bit strange to think like that, but I can't help it. I yawn and snuggle up against my pillow. I wonder what he thinks about all day tied up in that room. Is he scared? Angry? Does he hate all of us? I wish I could talk to him for just a little bit. I'm so curious. But I really ought to turn in early and get some sleep. On the other hand, this might be the perfect opportunity to go see him. Most of the village should be winding down for the night, and the guard shouldn't be too on edge yet since they've only just started their shift. I push the blankets off me and sit up. I'll never get a better opportunity than this. Who knows when they'll be ransoming him back? I whisper to myself in the darkness.
Okay, let's do this.
Peek my head out the door and glance both ways. Nothing. I can hear Rocco plucking away at his lute in his room, singing horribly off-key. Perfect. No more hear me leaving over that din. Oh, Rocco, the goddess bless you with good looks, but the ability to play. But she stopped there. We've been training for years in the event of a human incursion, but I never imagined putting these skills to use in my own village. The village is much quieter at this time of the evening, although there's still quite a few people awake. If I'm spotted, I'm done for. Better be careful. Here we go. I can't believe I made it. That was easier than I expected. I allow myself to bask in my victory. There's just one guard here. I think Elder Soul mentioned that the perimeter of the village tends to be more heavily guarded than the inside. Our magic is usually enough to stop anything or anyone from getting in. The sneaking around stops here, though. There's only one door. I take a deep breath and boldly stroll right up to the guard. He snaps out of his apparent stupor and blocks the doorway with his massive body.
You! Where do you think you're going?
Oh, I'm just here to observe the prisoner for our history class. We're doing a special unit on human-elemental relations.
He frowns.
I was never told of this. None of your classmates have been by today.
Shit.
Oh, well, this is a little embarrassing. I just really love history, and I wanted to impress Elder Glenn. Couldn't you give me just a little time?
He squints at me suspiciously.
10 minutes. That's it.
Oh, thank you so much.
Good luck with your studies.
Oh yeah, studies. That's why I'm here. It's rather dark inside. A small magic light floats near the post the boy is shackled to, illuminating his face. He looks up with a start at the sound of my entrance.
Oh, it's you. What are you doing here?
What am I doing here? I shut the door behind me quietly.
I'm not sure exactly. I just felt like I needed to come talk to you without everyone else here. To see for myself.
To see what? How dangerous I am?
You are dangerous. He throws up his hands in frustration, causing his chains to clank noisily. His shoulders sag at the audible reminder of his current predicament.
Whatever you're going to do, just get it over with. I don't care anymore.
I kneel down in front of him and study his features in the dim light. His handsome young face looks rather worse for wear since the last time I saw him.
Have they treated you poorly here?
What kind of a question is that? Look at me.
I take his manacled hand in mine and give him a kind smile. He deflates completely.
You're absolutely right. I'm so sorry. It must be so hard to be away from your family and people.
His mouth opens and closes wordlessly for a few moments. He finally settles into an awkward nod.
What's your name?
Daniel.
Daniel. That's a beautiful name. What does it mean?
What's it mean? I don't really know. Human names don't always have a meaning.
The light is dim, but I can tell that he's blushing. He's so easily flustered. I pat his hand and gently let it go. I'm not really sure why I'm here right now, but it's certainly not to explore human sexuality. It's time for me to go. I'm trying to date Lux, so next time, Daniel.
I hope when you go back to your people, you'll tell them that not all of us are so bad over here.
As I stand to leave, he looks suddenly despondent.
Please, don't leave me here by myself.
I'm sorry.
I hear the door open behind us. Sup, Lux?
Oh, Lux!
Are you alright? What are you doing here by yourself so late at night?
I'm fine. I just wanted to talk to him on my own. I don't know what I was expecting exactly, but I needed to come and find out for myself, whatever it was going to be.
Did you get what you needed? We really should head back to our quarters.
I take one last look at the human boy. His sad brown eyes seem to plead with me to stay.
Yeah.
Oh, good. After you.
Sorry, Daniel. Next time, maybe. But let me get through my classmates first.
Thank you for the time.
Right.
I wait until Lux and I are out of earshot of the guard. We walk down the path towards the student quarters.
What were you doing here anyway? How did you know where I went?
Oh, right. I was in the middle of this amazing treatise on human elemental relations, and I wanted to take some notes, but my quill broke. So I came to borrow yours, and when I saw that you weren't in your room, I got a little worried.
How did you even find me? I was so careful.
You seemed so curious about him earlier. I had a feeling you might do something like this.
Oh, you know me so well, Lux. I can't help but feel a bit annoyed.
I don't need anyone coming after me, Lux. I can take care of myself.
Yes, I know. That's not the only reason I came here.
Oh yeah? And what's that?
Isn't it obvious by now?
Oh, look at him, blushing. Oh, what do I say, yes or no? Let's go with no, make him tell me.
Gonna need you to spell it out for me.
Oh. Well, you're my best friend, aren't you? If you're planning to get into trouble, you're supposed to let me know. Best friends get in trouble together.
That was a cop-out answer.
Oh, Lux, you're too good to get mixed up in this sort of thing with me. If the elders found out, they'd be so disappointed. I couldn't put that on you.
That's kind of you. Just remember next time, you can tell me, okay?
All right, I will. Sorry, Lux.
Quite all right.
For a minute, it sounded like he had some kind of serious secret confession for me. I almost feel disappointed that he didn't. Yeah, me too. It's so hard to pick the right answer when I don't know what it's supposed to be.